Hi, and welcome to Algebra Examples. I'm Dr. Finch. Today we're going to look at the inverse function for an equation y is equal to the square root of 1 minus x squared, where x lives between 0 and 1 inclusive. Let's get started. Remember, when we have an inverse function, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to swap our x's and our y's. So we're going to start off there, and I'll do this in purple so we see what we're going to do with our equation. So originally we had a y on the left-hand side. We're going to turn that into an x. And on the right-hand side, instead of 1 minus x squared under that square root, we'll change that into 1 minus y squared. All right, next thing that we're going to do, and for now we're going to ignore our limitations on x, just FYI. We'll get to that in a bit. Next thing we do is we are going to solve for y. So we're going to take our current equation. We have this x is equal to the square root of 1 minus y squared. Let's square both sides. Remember, when we square and square root, oops, they cancel each other out. So that gives us x squared is equal to 1 minus y squared. We can add y squared to both sides. Y squared plus x squared is equal to 1. And I want to pause here for a second and just note that this equation right here, let's put that in yellow, should look somewhat familiar. If it doesn't, that's okay. I'm going to draw a picture of it and then it will look familiar. So in this particular one, our x squared plus y squared is equal to 0 ends up giving us a nice circle. So that is the equation of a circle with a radius of 1, which allows us to do all kinds of lovely things. And we are going to continue solving this for y by subtracting x squared from both sides. And last but not least, we will take the square root of both sides. Now, don't forget when you do that, we need a plus minus outside the square root because we have to deal with both sides of this. So you'll notice what we have here if we're looking at this as a picture. Here's our x, here's our y. This equation here is half of a circle. The positive square root of 1 minus x squared is that top quarter. It's in the first quadrant. The minus, this is all negative values, is going to be in the fourth quadrant, so the bottom part. So it's half of a circle, and it's an expression rather than an equation. This is where we want to get back to, we want our x's between 0 and 1 inclusive. And in particular, I think just in general, you'll want to change this so that is as an equation. If we want it as an equation, we'll go back to the positive. So our last step is to replace our y with f inverse of x. So we get f inverse of x is equal to, and I'm going to actually just leave it as positive 1 minus x squared, where in general our x, because it's a circle, our x's can never get bigger than 1. You'll notice there's no output when we get bigger than 1. We only have the circle. And this is more just for a how to put it, to make it pretty as an equation rather than an expression. Why we're just going to go with the positive square root. You can ask your teacher about it if you have any questions about what they prefer. All right, thank you for listening.